Satogaeri sees you take the shoes of a young woman named Misaki, who returns to her family home after quitting her job in the big city. Her family home is way out in the countryside and, it would appear, nothing is quite as it seems. What's haunting her and the neighborhood, and will she make it out of the night alive? This week, let's take a look at what happens in Satogaeri, a neat little horror walking simulator you can play right now. Make sure you check the description for the link. The game opens with a text prologue informing us of the circumstances that bring us here. This story is something I once experienced. Misaki explains that things weren't going too well at work, and because she was suffering mentally, she decided to quit and return to her parents' house. On this particular day, her parents were both at work, so she was home alone and still unpacking her stuff from the move. However, at some point she fell asleep, and when she woke up, the sun was setting. No big deal, not like she had anything to do anyway. No longer feeling like dealing with her stuff, she decides to visit a nearby park she used to play at when she was younger. However, she had no idea what terrifying experience was waiting for her once she got there. The game then opens with Misaki waking up in her room, and you reenact the opening text. Misaki mentions she no longer feels like dealing with all her stuff, and so heads downstairs. She remembers her parents mentioning that she should put some rice on the family altar, so she does that and thanks her ancestors for always watching over her. Feeling a little bored, Misaki decides to visit a nearby park. She used to play there a lot as a kid, and she remarks on the way how nothing has changed. At each piece of equipment in the park, Misaki remembers her struggles or joys from childhood. She never managed to master the reverse flip on the bars. She used to play on the seesaw until her backside hurt. The slide wasn't very slippery. And as she sits on the swings, she wishes she could return to those innocent times. Being an adult sure is rough, and she's not sure what's going to happen now that she's quit her job. For a moment, she briefly muses ending it all, but then she remembers something else from her childhood. There's a path next to the park that she was always told to stay away from. If you go there, you'll be taken away. Naturally, now that she's a fully grown adult, Misaki grows curious. Why exactly was she warned never to go there? The path that always used to be blocked is now suspiciously open, and she decides to head in and check it out. At the end of the path, she finds a shrine by a lake. It would appear no one has been there in quite some time, and everything is a mess. On the ground, she finds a mirror, but then she notices something out the corner of her eye across the lake. Something large and monstrous. A hand suddenly appears near her feet on the ground, crawling towards her, and she falls down in horror. When she gets back up, the creature and the hand are both gone. Thoroughly creeped out, Misaki decides it is most definitely time to go home. At home, she remembers she needs to hand the neighborhood circular notice to the neighbors, and so she does just that. At this point, it's pretty dark, and the neighborhood is not really the kind of place you want to hang around in the dark. Not after that weird experience at the abandoned shrine. And yet, on her way back, she notices a small boy crouching by the side of the road. He's crying about something. Turns out his airplane is stuck in the tree. A little weird for a kid to be out alone at this time, but Misaki remembers they have a long stick at home, so she should be able to get the plane out of the tree and send the kid on his way. Misaki grabs the stick from the shed and knocks the plane down. The kid thanks her, but then, naturally, says something creepy in return. "Hey, what's that behind you?" Misaki turns around and peers into the darkness. She can't see anything. But then, something rushes down the street and past her almost in an instant. The boy is gone as well. Having had enough of this nonsense, she rushes back home, which is thankfully just around the corner. Once inside, the phone rings. Thankfully, it's just Mum. She asks Misaki if she's okay, which confuses her. Why would she ask that? "I just got a call from Sensei," she says. "They said you're in danger." Sensei is the fortune teller Misaki saw when she was having a particularly bad year, and the person who helped her out of several rough patches. If they say that Misaki is in trouble, that's probably not a good thing. But Mum's not done yet. "By the way, is there someone there with you?" she asks. Of course, Misaki is alone, so what on earth could she be? Oh God. Considering the incredibly strange night she's been having, Mum tells her to draw a square of salt and sit her ass inside it for the rest of the night. It's something the fortune teller told them would build a barrier, and although it's not the strongest, it should keep her safe until morning when her parents will get back. Mum apologizes for the terrifying situation, but promises they'll be back by morning and then they'll head out and get purified. Mama didn't raise no fool, so Misaki grabs the salt and heads up to her bedroom and makes the square. The weird hauntings continue, and then, finally, it arrives. Misaki passes out, and when she comes back to, finds she's in the back seat of the car. Her mum is driving them somewhere. "It'll be okay now," she says. The sun is high in the sky by the time they arrive at the fortune teller's house, and they reveal that it was Misaki's ancestors who protected her last night. The day after that, her mother finally tells her the story of a young boy who went missing at that shrine. The path leading to it was blocked off after that, so nobody could enter again. What happened to the boy and what exactly that creature was remain a mystery. Misaki swears to herself never to go near the park or that shrine ever again, and even now, she still doesn't know the full truth behind what happened there all those years ago. Fade to black. At its heart, Satogaeri is a mood game. A walking simulator that lets you explore a little neighborhood and experience a few hauntings as you look around. The story isn't massively deep, but it doesn't need to be. It's more about the atmosphere, the experience, than crafting a fully explored story. The truth behind the creature at the shrine is unnecessary, but there are enough details to disturb regardless, and enough left to the imagination to perhaps make it more horrifying than if it had been fully explained. Just what was that creature? Was it the local kami-sama that was venerated at this now abandoned shrine? Was it some type of demon that happened to kidnap a boy on holy land, tainting it thereafter? That's left for you to decide, but whatever it was, it clearly wasn't good and Misaki almost became its next victim. But what did you guys think of this one? Do you know of any similar tales from your own neighborhood? Let me know in the comments below and I'll see you again next time.